Welcome back. Let's continue editing our HTML file. You might already have the Visual Studio open, but if you don't, then you have to go back to your file folder, right-click, open with, and we're going to first open with Microsoft Visual Studio, and we go back and we open it also with Microsoft Edge. Any browser will do, but get used to opening Microsoft Edge because later on that will become important. And I'm going to put those side by side here. I'm going to put this here, and I'm going to put something like this. And I'm going to hide my face. Bye-bye, since you don't need to see me. And we'll continue. Okay, so as we're talking about, these things are what we call codes. They are special messages that only some programs understand. For example, Visual Studio understands it. That's why it highlights in a different color. And your browser understands it by, making this, for example, bold and putting here a line break because we said make a line break. Let's do something else. Maybe let's make this much larger. Make it like a header. Well, there is a code for that, and that is h1. h1 and /h1. What that means is header 1. This is the largest header. There's h2, h3, etc. Let me go here and refresh. And look, nothing's changed. Looks the same. But notice something. Notice that there's a little star next to our game.html. See that little star here? That means this file has been changed, but it has not been saved. So why don't we save this? We can press Ctrl S, or we can simply click this button here to save. And watch for the little star will disappear. Okay, and boom, the little star disappeared. Now if I go into my browser and I refresh F5, look at that. Now I have a big text that says, "Hi friend." Maybe let me just zoom out. It's gonna make more sense. So this is just something to keep in mind. Make sure you always save your files, or you might get very frustrated wondering why your code is not working. Now let's do a couple things. Let's see, how does this HTML code work? Well, this bracket and this bracket means that inside, everything's going to be inside is going to be some kind of a code. It tells the browser what to do. B means make bold. Now, make what bold? Well, it says make anything bold until you see a closing tag. Basically the same tag as this one, but with a little slash, and that means close the tag. So anything in between will be bolded, as it is here. Same thing with h1. Anything between the beginning and the end of h1 tag should be a header. So if I come in here and I put something like hello friend, how about I put exclamation mark, hello friend. And again, I want to save that. I want to come back and refresh. Well, the exclamation mark is here. Why? Well, because it's not inside the h1 block. It doesn't want to make this into a header. But if I take this and I move it inside the h1 and I save and I refresh, now it is bold and big as it should be. Now, what if I wanted hi friend to be not only bolded, but also italics? You know italics, right? It means the slanted text. How would you guess you could make it italics? If you guess that we could simply say I, and look what it says here. You see this little squiggly line? And it says element I requires an end tag. See, this is where this Visual Studio, this editor specifically for HTML comes in handy, because it's telling you, listen, you started an I tag, but you haven't finished it. Aha, of course, we have to finish it. So we do bracket like this, slash means finish, I, and close bracket. And then let's save. And now there's no squiggly lines. Now everything's okay. And let's see. and now it is italics. So I want you to go ahead and play with this now and see if you can get it to look like this. So be very careful about your closing brackets, etc., and implement what I have here and come back when you're ready. One more thing I want to mention at this point is when you're editing your files, is when you type in I and you close it, immediately Visual Studio may create this end tag for you. And that depends on how the Visual Studio is configured. So if that's how it works for you, then it's actually a little shorthand. You don't have to write this end tag. And you just simply start writing text inside. And this behavior we just talked about is actually configurable. So look at this. If I type in, say, B, it automatically puts this end tag. And let's just say I want all of this text to be bolded. So I type in B, and it puts an end tag here. So I have to now, highlight it, maybe cut it, and then put it at the very end. If you don't like this, and again, I know you're just starting, so just ignore that. You can actually change this, and you can follow along and do it with me. So go to Tools, then go to Options, and here you have all the options, all the different ways you can configure Visual Studio. So what we're trying to configure is how this text editor, this code editor, works. Well, that's done using this text editor box. And I would like you to select it and then click on the little triangle to expand it. Go do that now, please. Then, as you can see, you have all these different languages. There is C#, there's F#, all these different languages that Visual Studio can edit. Visual Studio does not only edit HTML, it can edit Java, it can edit C++, all these other languages. But we're interested in HTML editor. So as you can see, here's HTML. You can click on this, and here you can configure how your Visual Studio behaves when you're editing HTML. So why don't you expand it and click Advanced. So go ahead and do that now. And again, if you run into trouble, you can always rewind, you can always cancel and rewatch the video. Tools, Options, Text Editor, HTML, expand with this arrow, and go to Advanced. When you go here, look at the very top feature, Auto Insert Closing Tag. So this tells the editor that it's going to be inserting the closing tag automatically, and that's the default. If you'd like, you can click false. I recommend you do that. That's what I do. Click false, and then click OK, and then come back when you're finished. Okay, now if I type in B, I don't have the tag automatically created. Okay, so I'll see you in the next video.